Hey, what's going on, guys? Hope everybody's doing well and having a great day. Looks like the stage is being set for yet another major storm, this time occupying both the west side of the Mississippi and the east side of the Mississippi River as we move into the next 24 to 48 hours. Look for conditions to change in the midwestern part of the United States. This is going to be a large storm, really big storm, spanning well over 1,000 miles. And in that 1,000-mile stretch, it's going to be rather consistent with large snowfall totals that we're going to talk about in this video. Got a lot of different things I want to touch on. We're going to focus on the large storm that's coming up, and we started off here at the GO 16. I use that a lot. I use null school. That's what you're looking at right here, and you're looking at wind currents. These are like the one of the jet streams. This is like the mid-latitude jet streams, and you can see that it is firmly anchored out here, at least the one coming across the U.S., coming in off the Pacific Northwest, diving down basically into the Arizona area where it's anchored, and then, boy, it is really working its way up to the northeast part of the United States, where, again, the stage is being set right here. You can see at the GO 16. It does follow suit with what you just saw over there at null school. We're also going to look at the total water content in these clouds, or expected to be in these clouds, over the next 2 days, and that's going to be the critical time for the largest amounts of snowfall. Some areas looking at 20 inches of snow, maybe more. Got a lot of weather warnings. I want to show you guys where we at. Bear with me. I have about 20 windows open right now that I'm trying to manage. Article over here at gizmodo.com. Updated just 15 minutes ago. Huge winter storm is about to make life messy for half of the United States. And when I mentioned 1,000 miles, no kidding, this is going to extend from down in like south central New Mexico through the Texas Panhandle. In fact, I'll draw a line here on the map. We'll just use the measurement tool here and go from where this storm could potentially develop. More than likely it's going to. These models are super accurate. They especially 24 hours out, and we're 24 hours out, so more than likely this will materialize. So look for a lot of snow if you're in this line, this path right through here. Look at that. Going up into southern Canada, our friends in southern Canada, a minimum of 1,700 miles long aesthetically. That's what the storm's going to look like on this instrument right here. And you can see it's already forming. Good grief, it's from Arizona all the way up into Michigan and then up into southern Canada. And this is only going to strengthen in the coming days. Just an incredible system forming. And over here at gizmodo.com, a massive swath of the U.S. is under storm warnings, which I'm going to read to you guys here in a minute. This week is winter storm. This one's named Landon brings messy weather. Updated February 1st of 2022. Major winter storm could soon spread dangerous weather across the United States, dumping snow, sleet, freezing rain, and ice across a huge strip of the country from Tuesday afternoon through Friday. That's one thing we need to consider too, especially with these storms. And we saw it just a few days ago in the upper northeastern part of the United States. Power outages, and if there's any significant amount of ice, I'm talking probably quarter inch with high winds, you can see power outages quite easily, and that would be in this area through here, through the Central Plains, like I said, both on the west and east side of the Mississippi. Right now, looks like a power outage situation, which is this has been ongoing for quite some time, but it wasn't this way earlier. This just happened within the last hour, but up over 11,000, almost 12,000 customers without electricity in California. And one I don't see on here very often is Kansas. Power outages in Kansas right now, 4,000 136 customers. So be keeping a close eye on the power outage situation as this storm continues to develop. It's developing right now as I do this video. Winter Storm Landon is the result of a cold front that is moving into the Midwest and the U.S. backed by freezing Arctic air. That's what you see right here. And this is a map, it looks like, from windy.com maybe. You can see the blue and then the purple up above the Minnesota-Canada border, right up in there. All that's very cold air that's associated with this storm front that's moving in right now. Storm warnings, storm watches and warnings are currently in effect, covering about 1,000 miles. It's actually more than that, of the U.S., extending diagonally northeast from Colorado Springs, Colorado, to parts of northern Texas, to Chicago and Detroit. Over the course of the week, the storm could impact residents from Texas to Maine quite easily. This storm is still forming, and it is. So predicting what's going to happen still involves a lot of guesswork. Conditions could change significantly in the next 48 hours. But preliminary forecasts show this thing is pretty certain to begin Tuesday night, and that would be tonight, and then span over the course of the next 72 hours with heavy snow and, like they mentioned up here earlier, ice, sleet, and freezing rain. And if that freezing rain does materialize, then, you know, hand in hand, power outages go along with freezing rain, especially if there are high winds involved. Looking at some of the totals, no, it doesn't look like much here. I'm over at windy.com, but this is just over the next 24 hours. Watch what happens. And they're already showing 8 inches of snow in the next 24 hours, right through the central part of Illinois, Pittsfield, Jacksonville, Rushville, looking at 8.4 in the next 24 hours. Take a look at this map over the next 3 days, the next 72 hours. Big difference. There's where the storm really takes on an entirely different perspective, and spanning well over 1,000 miles from eastern New Mexico, even parts of Colorado. I think this is all connected. Clear up into Maine, southern Canada, Nova Scotia. It's going to be absolutely huge. And looking at some of the snowfall totals in these areas, pretty consistent. 13 inches. I mean, that's the green, light yellow. Looking down here around the St. Louis area, man, they are going to get a lot of snow. Densely populated area, potentially 18.7 inches of snow. And now it's showing 13. I guess it depends on how far you zoom in or out. We'll try to stay right there. I was trying to show the entire storm as it spans, like I said, well over 1,000 miles. Chicago, let's see what Chicago is looking at. They're a very densely populated area, and throw about a foot of snow in here on 6 million people. Looking at 9.16 in South Chicago, Northwest Chicago, about 8. Around Gary, Indiana, looking at 9, nearly 10. 12 inches of snow in northern Indiana. Over by Dayton, Ohio, possibly 17 inches of snow. Are you serious? That is a lot of snow. And the situation is going to be compounded by high winds. And some of these areas, it depends on where you're at with regard to the storm front itself. Obviously up here, it's going to be much colder. They can still see 3.2 inches north of Ottawa. Where are we at here? That would be in northwestern Illinois. That's that line of very cold air. It's kind of where it stops. And then over in through here, spanning a couple hundred miles wide at least, that's the thickest part of the snowfall. I mean, a foot of snow covering a wide area, multiple states. Look at this here. In northeastern Pennsylvania, 10 inches of snow. And they're already dealing with a fresh 7 or 8 inches of snow on the ground. Entire state of New York looking at another fresh 10 inches of snow. Big storm, guys. This is definitely a superstorm in the making. Coming over here to ventusky.com. You're looking at a map showing snowfall totals by February 3rd at midnight. So this would include the rest of today, and then all day tomorrow. So looking at about 36 hours worth of snowfall totals. And again, this is pretty consistent with, if not, it's not identical, but it's very consistent with what we just saw over at windy.com. The purple and lavender colors are the heaviest snow. And this was showing, or is showing, 16 possible inches of snow up in the Chicago area. Holy cow, that's a lot of snow. Yeah, 16, 11, 12, 18 inches of snow. I wonder if, based off the flow of the wind, if that could be partially influenced by lake effect snow. Either way, a lot of snow covering a wide area. North central Illinois, 14, 15 inches of snow. Again, these lavender colors are the highest snowfall totals. 12, 13 inches around Rushville, 14 inches around Mount Sterling, Liberty, Illinois, 14.1. Where else are we at here? Barry, Illinois, 12.6. New Salem, 14. So again, pretty consistent. Just a foot of snow in general, about as far as you can see if you're looking from the Texas Panhandle all the way up to Maine. A huge swath of a foot of snow. So more than likely, this is going to generate some power outages. Looking at the map right now, in fact, I'm going to take a screen grab of that, and we're going to see how much that changes in the next 24 to 48 hours. We'll give it a couple of days. I'm trying to find, there we go. I want to show you guys the water content. That's the jet, the upper level winds, but we're going to look at total precipitable water in the clouds, and this would be actually today. So you can see in this area, see the dark white colors right there in the center. Everything else is blue. That's dry down here, and you can see the same wind pattern, just really cranking from west to east or west southwest to northeast. And this here, water content 1.433. Keep in mind it takes an inch of rain to make a foot of snow. So that is consistent with what they're showing on Vent the Sky and windy.com. See that 1.4? That's the water content in the clouds that we're seeing start to develop. And these clouds are very heavily saturated with moisture. And that moisture, based off of the temperature and the cold air that's coming down from Canada, it's going to create a winter wonderland for thousands, over 1,000 miles through here. I wanted to show you guys the storm warnings from the National Weather Service, and there are a bunch. This is a storm warning for multiple counties in, let me show you the area where we're at, through the Central Plains, right through here in central Illinois, covering an area from, I don't know, the upper third of Illinois all the way down to basically south central Illinois. And here's the alerts from the National Weather Service. A winter storm warning remains in effect from 9 p.m. this evening, when it's really supposed to start coming down heavy. Of course, that's going to be after dark. So I'd get all your errands run today if you could, and you know, kind of hunker down because you're going to get a lot of snow. The winter storm warning remains in effect from 9 tonight until 6 p.m. On Thursday. So looking at a couple of days. What? Heavy snow and sleet expected. Total snow accumulations 5 to 17 inches. And these areas include Cass, Champaign, these are counties, Cass County, Champaign, DeWitt, Fulton, Knox, Logan, Macon, Marshall, Mason, McLean, Menard, Morgan, Peoria, Platte, Sangamon, Schuyler, Scott, Stark, Tazewell, Vermilion, and Woodford. And they're talking about 5 to 17, that's a lot of snow, with higher totals favoring locations near Interstate 72. I'll show you guys where that's at. Sleet accumulations could be between 1/10 of an inch and 2/10 of an inch, winds gusting as high as 35 miles per hour. And where these warnings are at for this particular warning, and there's several more, portions of central, east central, and west central Illinois. Once again, from 9 p.m. this evening until 6 p.m. on Thursday. Interstate 72 runs right through the center part of Illinois, right there. And that's where they're talking. Some of the higher snowfall totals could be along Interstate 72, which travels from basically Danville to Hannibal, all across this area right here, right across the central part of Illinois. And that's just one. I'll show you how many other warnings there are. Look at this. Look at that. Are you serious? Winter storm warning, Cook County. Winter weather advisory, DeKalb County. Winter storm warning, and these are all from the 1st to the 2nd and 3rd. Ford, Kankakee, and Iroquois, that'd be up in northern Illinois. Winter storm warning, Hancock, McDonough, and Putnam counties. Winter weather advisory, Henry, Mercer, Warren, Henderson, and Bureau counties. Here's the one I just read, you guys. Winter storm warning for all of the counties across the central and east central, west central Illinois. Winter storm warning for Christian Coles, Cumberland, Douglas, Effingham, Moultrie, and Shelby counties. And it just goes on and on. Look at the list of winter storm warnings. Unbelievable. There's another one down here. Winter storm warning for Calhoun, Greene, Jersey, Macoupin, Madison. That would be in the south central part of Illinois. And that's that swath that they were talking about along I-72, this interstate right here, right through that corridor that runs right across the center part of Illinois. That's where the largest amounts of snowfall could possibly accumulate. And you can see some other impressive totals over in Iowa. I saw a map earlier that it's updated now. I don't see it, but it showed nearly 20 inches of snow in the Indianapolis area of Indiana, and all of these numbers are subject to change between now and then. I mean, this is a forecast, but it's a 24-hour forecast, and a lot of times these 24-hour forecasts don't change much. So more than likely, this is what we're going to see in these areas. Another big round of snow, and we just got through a big round of snow. The big nor'easter are still moving snow around up in the northeastern United States, but I will say they did get the power back on rather quickly. I was very impressed at how quick the power got back on. Looking at these totals here through Indiana, strong storm, big swath of easily 15 inches of snow in the next 36 hours. So if you have anything, any errands, anything you need to get, if you're in these areas here that you're looking at on the map, I'd get it now. That's spanning. Look up in Michigan. Big totals in southern Michigan. 15 consistent right across the Illinois or Indiana Michigan border. 15, 16 inches up to Kalamazoo, Battle Creek, Lansing, Flint. Flint, you guys can see 10, 12, or 11 inches, 12 inches. Grand Rapids, a lot of snow coming, guys. I'd get the things you need and just stay home for the next couple of days, or stay close to home. You know, if you can, stay off these roads, because they're going to become, obviously, like we saw up in Nantucket and the nor'easter we just watched, the roads become not completely impassable, but they were doing a good job keeping the roads cleared off up in the upper northeast. In fact, speaking of good jobs, look at the power restored. There are only, right now, 498 customers. If you can see that on the map right there. Let's click on it. Look at that. Got all the power restored, with the exception of 480 customers after a nor'easter. I mean, that's pretty good, considering at one time there were nearly 120,000 customers without electricity in that same area. Just incredible. Good job, guys. I wanted to show you guys some other things over here at the website. You can see I put up another photo. That was a really cool photo sent in by Claire. I'm not sure the location, but like a big spider web up in the sky. We've got a large active region. I want to talk about the sun here real quick, because the sun influences the earth and everything we do on earth, especially that sun angle. But this is the backside of the sun, and that's an active region that's turning towards the earth. We won't be able to see this thing for probably another 5 days, but if it remains that big, that's bigger than any that we have facing the earth right now. In fact, it dwarfs that one. These are Earth facing, by the way. These are the ones we can see. The one that I just showed you is on the backside of the sun. We can't see it yet. These are respectable active regions and sunspots. They're not hyperactive, like we've seen in the past, but that could all change very, very quickly. You can see here at the Space Weather Prediction Center, this is showing us a CME that is earthbound. This little green orb right there is supposed to see an impact of a fairly large CME that was associated with an M-class solar flare sometime either late tonight or early tomorrow morning. These things can be very unpredictable, okay? Because you don't know sometimes if the cloud, this is a big cloud of ionized gas, if it's going to go above the Earth, below the Earth. Right now, it looks like it's coming directly at the Earth. That's what you would assume. This is Earth right here. So the reason I'm showing you this is because if you are a aurora chaser and you're in a position to get photographs in the high latitudes of planet Earth, if that does materialize like it's supposed to, we're in a dense part of that cloud right there. And that would potentially generate some beautiful auroras. So once again, we have one that's supposedly on the way, but I've seen this happen before. And here's the date right there, February the 2nd, which is going to be tomorrow. Actually, looking at the early morning hours, of February 2nd, so late tonight, during the overnight hours, might be able to see some auroras if you're in the high latitudes. The Earth-facing side of the sun over here, once again at the Space Weather Prediction Center, this is the GOES X-ray flux. A little bit feisty, but nothing major. Got what looked like an M flare right there. Not quite though, but the potential is definitely there. So look for Earth-facing solar activity to increase in the coming days, and look for a large active region rotating around the eastern limb of the sun here in the next 4 or 5 days, and we could see, if it holds together, a definite increase in solar activity. Storm warnings, look at there's an entire page of winter storm warnings. That's at the National Weather Service. This is the water vapor map at the GOES 16, and this is the storm. This is the stage that's being set, and this is the path this superstorm is going to take, starting, the heavier snowfall around 9 p.m. tonight, and then it's going to grow exponentially during the overnight hours, and then by tomorrow we'll see a much different map here. You'll see a huge storm system spanning, like I said earlier, over 1,000 miles, multiple states. This thing's got everything on the menu, from what I understand, with regard to snow, and then ice, sleet, and even freezing rain. It just depends on where you're at, associated with the warm line of this storm. And the warm line, obviously, it's going to be down here, a little bit south, probably in northern Kentucky. Let's see, parts of north central Arkansas. Right along that line, you could potentially see sleet and freezing rain. In the middle, you're going to see a lot of snow. A lot of snow coming up over here at spaceweather.com, and they too are talking about the far side, the backside of the sunspot. And the sunspots now that are facing the Earth have the magnetics to produce a M-class solar flare, no X-class flares. Not yet anyway, but we do have that big sunspot on the backside of the sun. And in fact, that's some activity right there you see over here at the Soho LASCO C3. That's actually a small flare that jumped off. It did create a 360-degree halo. That means it goes out in all directions. But we've seen definitely much bigger. But that's an active region that's turning our way, and we should be able to see it here in a few days. Got some other things I wanted to share with you guys. I think I already talked to you about the winter storm warning. That's for along the I-72 corridor, right through the center part of Illinois, from border to border, from Indiana all the way over to Missouri. This article here is from gizmodo.com. I wanted to kind of switch gears here a little bit. I wanted to show you guys some things that I don't recall sharing with you guys. I get footage of unusual things in the not only nighttime sky, but daytime sky as well. And this is one of those that was super unique. I don't know if you guys saw this thing or not, but we're going to play it anyway, just to kind of switch gears a little bit. This is a daytime observation. This is out of Oklahoma, and this was of a cigar, white cigar craft, no wings, didn't make any sound, and it went right over Oklahoma. Now check this out. When it gets going in the other direction, maintains about the same speed, kind of at a slight angle, or at least it appears to be, you're going to see the backside of this thing light up. I don't know if it's some sort of afterburners. I mean, that's what it reminded me of. Maybe it was some sort of reflection. Check this out. It's really kind of cool. I'll play it again a couple of times. I'm going to zoom in on this object so you can see there's no wings on that thing. Watch the backside of this thing. That's what really caught the viewer's attention. I'm trying to stay on it. Okay, get ready. Here we go. Here we go. Watch, watch, watch. Okay, I'm trying to stay on it. Watch the backside of this thing. All right, here we go. I mean, this thing's just cruising through the daytime sky. All right, here we go. Look at it! Look! 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 See how it gets real bright back there? Look at that thing, and then it takes off. Look. I'll play it again. Look how bright that is. Here we go. I'm gonna leave the magnifier off. See how the backside lights up? You can see something up here. I don't know if that's associated with this thing or not. And then it just takes off. It kind of lunges forward as some sort of what looked like a very intensely bright light on the backside of this thing. Almost reminded me of an afterburner. And the reason I'm sharing this is, in case you guys hadn't seen this is one of the better daytime observations of just something. Look at that, how it took off. Of something mysterious in the daytime skies about the Central Plains where it's getting ready to snow. In fact, I think that was above Oklahoma. Oklahoma could see in excess of 10 inches of snow south of Bartlesville, northeast of Oklahoma City. East of Oklahoma City could see 8. South Central could see 10. And then eastern Oklahoma could see nearly 8 inches of snow. Getting into Texas, 13. Are you serious? That's near Electra. 13 inches of snow in Texas. I mean, this storm is huge. And it's packing a lot of snow. It's got a lot of moisture in it. Like I showed you guys over there at Null School, this storm has a lot of moisture. Got over an inch of water, precipitable water, and that's in a steady line through here. And I think the rule of thumb is an inch of rain creates a foot of snow, approximately. But this goes all the way back into, look at Colorado, 8.5. Parts of New Mexico, 10 inches up here on the border, 8 inches. South Central, 8 inches. Clear back into West Texas, 8. Near Odessa, see, I'm over here at windy.com. That's 8 inches of snow. That's like a pocket of snow through there. And then in between Odessa and Alpine, 5. But a considerable amount of snow through the north central part of Texas. Wow. And then Oklahoma, of course, Missouri, 12 inches, foot of snow, solid foot of snow covering most of the central part of Missouri. And that's on both Ventisky and Windy. You can see the line of purple and lavender. That's a solid 10, 12 inches of snow through the Central Plains. Look like Quincy, southeastern Quincy, you could see, wow, 14 inches of snow. Near Payson, Burton, Quincy itself, around 9, maybe 10, depending on where you're at. Along the Illinois River, some places could see 15 inches of snow. Wow, that's a lot of snow. When you got the Quincy, yeah, okay, now I'm over at Ventisky. Okay. 14 south of Hannibal, Palmyra, 10 inches of snow. A lot of snow coming, guys, so get your errands run today. And be prepared for power outages. You never know. I don't know we'll check out wind gusts here in a moment. I think the wind gusts that I saw were no more than like 30, 35 miles an hour. You can see a big overview of this storm, how it spans multiple states, and easily over 1,000 miles. Definitely a superstorm in the making, and here's the stage that's being set. Here's the conveyor that's bringing the moisture, and there's going to be more moisture join this big, it looks like an atmospheric river. You know, it's going to look like an atmospheric river tomorrow, especially by this time tomorrow. More than likely during the overnight hours tonight, this will look like a very large atmospheric river. Guys. All right, I want to switch gears again. Here we go. Kind of showing you some things that I haven't shown you guys yet. I don't think. Oh, and I wanted to share something with you guys. I noticed somebody in yesterday's video. I talked about the morning star, and I didn't mean it literally. That's a figuratively speaking. Venus is in the early morning sky now, you know, during the winter months, and when it's in the early morning sky, it is referred to as quotation marks. I'm using quotation marks right now. It's referred to as the morning star. I know it's not a planet, but it's called the morning star because it gets misinterpreted as a star so many times when it's in the early morning sky in the eastern sky before sunrise. So it is not literally a star, so I apologize for any confusion that may have generated. That was not my intent. That's in fact, I'm not the one that started that. That started many years ago. They started referring to Venus as the morning star when it's in the eastern sky. So just to figuratively speak, guys, not literally. Venus is definitely a planet as far as I've ever known. Okay, we're going to San Diego, California. This is just an educational piece here in case you guys happen to see something like this in your travels. Most of you probably know what these are, but in case you don't, if you see these things in the nighttime sky, these are not anything nefarious or anything that's, you know, uncommon or, you know, visitors from another world. These are just simple Chinese lanterns moving through the nighttime sky, and they're always staggered. Usually you'll see them in pairs, but not always. And they travel at an angle because they're lifting up and they're being influenced by the wind, and that's the direction that the wind is blowing. And these things are being lifted off by the wind. They're typically orange, but not always. They look like an orange orb moving through the nighttime sky. This is a classic example of Chinese lanterns. So if you happen to see these, and this is a close-up view, these were deployed over here, back over in this area somewhere, and they carried up and over into this person's field of view. So again, if you happen to see something like this in your travels, just know that more than likely, unless it's doing something erratic, you know, if they're moving just very smoothly through the sky, that means they're reacting to the wind. They're following the wind. They don't have propulsion systems on them. They're just totally at the mercy of the wind. So these things are Chinese lanterns moving through the nighttime sky. These were visible from the San Diego area. That's what those are. So if you happen to see those, like I said, in your travels, just know that more than likely that's what that is, a Chinese lantern. And they're set off by people for a wide variety of reasons, you know, maybe a celebration of some sort. That's why a lot of times you'll see these things around holidays, maybe something more personal, you know, birthdays or some sort of a family celebration. Some families will, you know, let these lanterns off. So that's what those are, in case you happen to see those. And I wanted to share that with you guys because I've had it on my desktop for quite some time, and figured now's time, good time as any to share it, just in case you happen to see them in your travels. Here's another white cigar craft in the daytime sky, sent in by Amber M. And this is the original video footage. I'm not exactly sure of the location, but but it almost looks identical to the one. In fact, I think it is to the one we just saw out of Oklahoma. Check it out. These are the things that are hovering and occupying space in our skies of our little planet here. Things like that. What is that? Okay, now we're going to zoom and take a closer look. Doesn't this look like the object that we just saw? Look at that. No wings. Solid white. It kind of reminds you of, I agree, it reminds you of the Tic Tac that was spotted by the Navy pilot. It's a little longer though, but it's definitely got the same characteristics of a Tic Tac like the pilot saw, but it's not identical. This thing here is just moving through the daytime sky, not making any noise. This one here didn't have a very bright light like the other one did. The other one looked like an afterburner or something turned on, and the backside of it, there was a bright light, and then it accelerated. This one does not do that, but it looks absolutely identical to the one that I just shared with you guys. And again, I'm just simply sharing. I don't claim to know what this is. Could be a drone for all I know, but it does look almost identical, in the speed, in the shape, in the color, pretty much everything, with the exception of there's no bright light on the backside of this one here. That video footage was, I've got so many of these guys that I just share a few every now and then because, they're good little videos, and you guys are wide awake and on the ball, and you don't miss much. You guys are always sending in really good observations of things in the daytime and nighttime sky. So I try to share, all the ones that I get to, and I appreciate all the ones that you guys send in. I really do. So good job. Keep up the good work. You guys do not miss much, if anything at all. Doing a good job. But again, back to the Superstorm. Expect copious rainfall, copious snowfall totals, accumulations in the next 24 to 36 hours. Anywhere from, where are we at here? An inch and a half, spanning from, say, Davenport, Iowa, maybe an inch there, all the way down to Terre Haute, another inch, but it's in between this couple 100-mile stretch here. You can see some significant snowfall totals in the next, especially 36 hours, and then this is going to trend northeast. So that's why some of these storm warnings go for an extra day, because up in here they're going to be dealing with this storm a little bit longer than they will, say, down here in the Texas Panhandle. The Texas Panhandle will get the majority of its snow probably tonight during the overnight hours, or even this evening, down in here through Oklahoma. But big storm brewing, guys, in the Central Plains on both sides of the Mississippi. This thing's going to span for well over 1,000 miles, so just be ready. If you're in these areas, be ready for power outages. I did take a screen grab of this current map over here at poweroutage.us. Right now, I'm going to look into why there's a power outage ongoing in Kansas. I was kind of surprised. Let's look and see where it's at. You click on a state. This is an excellent source of information, and you can see there's a power outage here in Osage. Shows you the counties. Franklin and Anderson, 519 in Anderson, 2000 in Franklin, and 1285 in Osage. So something going on there. I don't know if it's weather related. I don't think so. Then again, it could be a burst of high winds, as this stage is definitely being set for large superstorm forming in the Central Plains of the U.S. So look for a lot of snow coming again. Another round two, another blizzard set for the Central Plains, blizzard 2 of 2022. All right, guys, that's all I got for now. I just want to give you an update on the snow situation and the multiple snowstorm warnings covering multiple states, spanning well over 1,000 miles. Superstorm, February of 2022. Thanks for watching. Have a super day, and be safe out there, guys.